Hi, and welcome back from our break. Today we have with us Darlene, who is the Director of Northern Reach Rescue Network. Darlene, thanks again.
Thank you.
We're just going to continue
Sure.
chatting about what we were talking about before the break. So you were talking about having donations of basically you know, care items and food being sent up to the northern communities.
That's right. There's a program, the feeding program for the northern dogs that's run here in Thunder Bay. It's a wonderful program and it is very vital. The first thing that these dogs need is food.
Right.
They have to be fed. And we understand that in these communities with a high stray population, that these dogs, if they're not fed, they are dangerous. They are packing up.
Right.
They're looking for food. So our idea is if these dogs are fed, then they're happier dogs. They're not such a danger to the community. And that's a wonderful partnership. And how we connected with a lot of our volunteers with these wonderful people that are receiving food from the feeding program and feeding these dogs.
Wow.
And then they're able to identify any dogs in need that are coming to be fed.
So are you supplying pet owners up there as well as feeding the strays?
Not very often. We will in cases of there's dire straits, things like that. What we do try to promote is the elders, how they used to feed their sled dogs.
Okay.
With fish and traditional ways that because a bag of dog food in the north is approximately $100.
I was going to ask you about that, the price of feeding.
Yes,
Right.
there's not many people even here that could afford $100 for one bag of dog food.
Wow.
And these people love their pets, they love the dogs. And when they go to feed their dog, if there's 4 others there waiting to be fed, they're going to feed them.
Right.
So it can become quite a hardship in feeding these dogs.
So where does this food, this large food supply come from?
The generous donations of people in Thunder Bay. There's also Southern Ontario volunteers that we have working down there, Susan and Kim. They're networking through Global Pets. And a lot of these shelters and that have an overabundance. And they don't like to see it going to waste.
Right.
They're learning about Northern Reach and the feeding program, and they understand that there is a need here, that we can use this food. Every time we send a crate up north, we always send food with us. All the rescues do.
Yeah.
So any crate that goes up north has a blanket, it has a coat for the dog to keep them warm during the flight. We send up food and anything else that they need.
Okay. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your mandate. So
Yes.
tell me that. Tell me what your mandate is and why you do what you do.
Our mandate is to reduce suffering, reduce hardship, helping with the communities become a safer, happier place. There isn't any community that would want 500 or 600 dogs, all starving, all in heat, and it's quite taxing on the community.
Right.
We want to promote spay and neutering as a way of controlling the population, identifying and removal of the dogs that do need care or are strays. We work with owners of dogs too that find they want something better for their dogs. And those are the stories that touch our heart. I received a message from a fella that loved his dog dearly, but he said, I want to see him laying in front of a fireplace in a dog bed and have a wonderful life. And that's exactly what happened to that dog.
Aw.
And we keep the owners updated. We want them to know that we take that responsibility very seriously.
Okay, great. So you've also designed a new logo, which I think is
Yes.
fantastic, is very creative.
Thank you. Well, we have one of our reusable bags that has our logo on it.
Wonderful.
We have had a wonderful volunteer that we kind of trying to explain what we were about and how we could incorporate that into a logo as helping hands
Right.
in the north. And she came up with this idea, and we all just fell in love with it instantly. And that's become our logo.
So this has all of the communities that you have a partnership with.
That's right. And little paw prints.
And a little paw print to identify each on the map.
That's right.
This is wonderful.
That's right.
So you have a number of volunteers.
Yes.
This is solely volunteer run.
It is.
So what are some of the positions that you can volunteer for with Northern Reach?
There's many things that need doing. It isn't about always flying the dogs in, of course. That's always a big part of it.
Right.
Fostering, of course, is a big part of it. But we also have a lot of things, cleaning crates,
Okay.
Running with supplies, picking up donations. There's all these little things that are sort of behind the scenes but are just as important to have people, and people love to be able to, I could spare half an hour, or I could spare an hour. I could go and help at an event that we're having, and they really like to be involved.
Okay. So tell me how, if somebody was interested in getting involved with your rescue, how would they go about connecting with your organization?
They could either go on our Facebook page, Northern Reach Rescue Network, and message that page.
Okay.
Or they could email northernreach@outlook.com and give us an email. Or they could call me as well. My phone number is on our page.
Okay.
And that's a wonderful way to find out what they could do to help.
So you don't have very many foster parents in town here. How would somebody get involved with fostering?
Well, fostering is what they would do is message the page or contact me,
Okay.
and we would send them a foster application. And we also have a volunteer application.
Okay.
Because we figure everybody can do something, and we want to be able to put them in that spot where they're most needed and something they enjoy doing. Somebody might enjoy going to events and being at those things. That's really what they love to do. So then we could find that spot for them. Once they've identified and finished the foster application, we have a home check done. So our volunteers go and do the home check, and they go through our protocols with the new foster, and they leave them a lovely foster kit with all the supplies that they're needed. And then we have a private page where we add all our fosters and volunteers. Because we like to think of ourselves as a family. We want to support each other. We want to have that networking amongst ourselves, so that if somebody needs something and somebody's able to go get it for them, they need some advice and that sort of thing, so we can communicate with each other.
That's a wonderful way of networking.
Yes.
Well, when we come back, we're going to take
Okay.
another short break. We have a wonderful story
Yes.
about a fostering situation.
Yes, we do.
And two furry guests that we're going to have on.
Yes.
So we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.